you will never regret investing in the next generation. Give them the mic, the meeting, the moment. You're not just shaping your church, you're shaping the future. That is a mic drop moment if I've ever seen one. Welcome to episode 8 of the LeadingSmart Podcast, season 2, all about 40 lessons in 40 years, where Tim gives us all of his wisdom, every ounce of it from the last 40 years.
All of my failures in 40 years.
No, and lots of wins. But this episode, we're going to be talking about why leaders fade and how to avoid it. I feel like we've had an unintentional theme this season around like weaving in random Christian music references. So for this one, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
When the music fades and all is stripped away.
Wow.
Yeah, that was what this title reminded me of.
That was
awesome.
That was why we have post-session editors. No, we'll leave it in. It was great.
Thank you for that.
Because you do have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thanks. I'm just gonna keep singing, so you keep telling me that.
If your day job doesn't work out, you could maybe.
What is my day job, by the way? Can that be a whole episode where you help me figure that out?
I don't. Yeah, your
helping
husband
Tim.
can tell you.
That's my day job, is helping Tim.
Tim. I like that.
Okay, so in our ebook, which by the way, you can find at leadingsmart.com/lessons or /podcast, you have number 30. It's you will never regret investing in the next generation. Give them the mic, the meeting, the moment. You're not just shaping your church, you're shaping the future. That is a mic drop moment if I've ever seen one. And you, first of all, I've seen your passion for this lived out in real time. And you do such a good job of giving away authority and responsibility that a lot of leaders are afraid to do. So talk to me about how you came to know this lesson over the past 40 years.
Yeah. So I'll talk about this from two sides. The first side is going to feel a little depressing. Okay.
Oh, joy. Okay, let's get that one over with first.
Yeah, I knew you would want that. So we've talked about this book called From Strength to Strength by Arthur C. Brooks. I think he got the C because John C. Maxwell, and he thought that worked.
Oh, yeah.
So he went
throw it
ahead
in there
and just
and
threw a C in there, Arthur C. Brooks. Anyway, fantastic book. You're going to read the first couple chapters, especially if you're in my season of life, and you're going to think, oh, I'm just done. I may as well just shoot myself. I mean, not really, but you're going to,
that was dramatic, Tim.
You're going to be a little bit depressed, but it focuses on, he goes through all of this. It's very data driven, which speaks to my heart on how people in all of these different industries, high achieving, highly accomplished people, scientists, doctors and nurses, writers, singers, engineers, how they tend to peak. The pinnacle of their accomplishment and success happens somewhere, and it's a little bit different, but it's pretty close to somewhere around your age, Holly.
Yeah.
Like somewhere around late 30s, like 42 kind of is on the high end of that. And how all of us often face decline in our professional abilities as we age. And that transition can be super difficult, right? To think that I peaked when I was 38. And I think back, my peak was 20 years ago. And yet he argues that true fulfillment in the second half of life comes not from clinging to past strengths, but really from embracing new kinds of success. And a lot of that is rooted in wisdom, in passing, in pouring into others, in building into some of those relationships and serving others. It's less about accomplishing, and it's more about pouring into others that are in those high achieving years.
So that you said the first part was depressing.
Yeah.
Oh, but the second part is that you're investing in others.
The two parts, I want to talk about that. Just the fact that probably if you're in my season of life, your highest achieving years are probably in your rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that? A lot of times you see leaders just kind of clamor for they just clamor to hang on to the position, to hang on to the success, to hang on to the achievement. They're blocking people out that are younger than them rather than embracing them. You asked me kind of when I started on this path. When I was around 40, so much older than you, in your ripe old age of
much older.
37 or 36.
I'm 36. I will be 37 soon.
Your ripe young age of 36. But when I was around 40, I worked on a life plan with a good buddy named Doug Slabaugh, and he took me through this kind of process over 2 or 3 days.
Which I'm glad you're bringing this up, because I mentioned this on our first episode about how you went through this life plan process that led you to want to live in warm areas.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want
that
people
didn't
to like
actually,
connect the
yeah.
dots.
Yes. Same life plan.
Yeah, same process.
Anyway, part of that process, it was like me thinking through as a 40-year-old, who do I know that's like 60 to 75 to 80, 60 to 80, that still is in my, like, I still highly respect. They still have it. They're still relevant. They're still respected. And I made a list of those. And then who are, people in that age that feel like they're either done or they're trying too hard or they're irrelevant or they're clinging on to yesterday kind of stuff. And it was interesting. The ones that were still contributing in a big way, these were leaders who were no longer concerned about building their own resume. They'd already done that, right? They were leaders no longer building their own platform or trying to like just, get more viewers or watchers or readers or whatever it is. Leaders who were intentionally, this was a key thing, intentionally pouring into younger leaders. Like that was it was a passion, not just that they spoke about, but that you could see lived out. People that realized that their legacy wasn't in their own work, but in the work of the people that they poured into.
Yeah.
In that season, I just like that. I'm going to be that kind of leader. Like I'm not going to be one who is just trying to hang on to all of it so that it's kind of my achievement and my resume and my platform, but really pour into others.
So what I'm hearing from you is, in order to avoid your leadership fading, invest in others, specifically the younger generation.
Yep.
So, but what does that practically look like? So what has this looked like for you, or what do you wish it would have looked like for you?
A few ways. And actually I have 7.
Of course you do.
I have a 7-point outline.
You've thought through this and you have an outline?
I have an outline.
Great.
So how do you do that? One is, and when we're talking about younger leaders, it's like, what does a young leader mean? Well, let's just start with younger than you, younger than me, whoever, it's people that are, I don't have to explain this, behind us in life. And I think the first thing is give them a voice, like give them space at the table. We talked in our last episode about how if you don't have space at the table, how to lead where you are. Now I'm talking to the people that own the rooms. They own the tables. And I say, give them space at the table. You say, what table? Well, every table that's possible where it makes sense. I've seen leaders do this. Let's say your senior team is 6 people and you're like, we can't have 8 people in the room just to have young voices. Well, you could every now and then. You could bring them in once a month just as a development play. You could bring them in as subject matter experts on certain topics.
I'm so glad you're saying that, because I've heard a couple of leaders recently that have been like pushing back on the number of people in the room. That's too many people in the room. I'm like, it's about having the right people in the room. Stop worrying about how many people in the room and make sure you have the right people in the room. So yeah, and in these situations, maybe the right person in the room is the younger leader, or is even having them shadow it, or whatever that might look like. So I appreciate that you're encouraging us to think this way.
And I would encourage those leaders too to think through, it's like, we don't want more people in the room. We have enough people in the room. It's possible that, among the 6 people already in the room, some of them shouldn't, they're there positionally, or they're there institutionally. Like it's just, they've always been in the room.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily contributing at that level anymore. And you get to really think through that. But so the first one is give them a voice. Second one is give them room to try and fail and celebrate the trying. They're going to come up with ideas that you tried 20 years ago and it didn't work, and it didn't work, and you don't feel like it's going to work now, and you want to shut it down, and it'd be easy to shut it down, or you don't want to budget for it. Give them some space. Like, let them try. It's a new day. It's not the same environment as it was when you tried it, and that's how they're going to learn, and that's how they're going to grow and be developed. Third thing with young leaders is call it out. Use the words, I believe in you, or I see this in you. And those words will carry so much weight. I'm sure you can think, like right now, you can think of someone who said, and it probably hasn't been a ton of people, but some people, key people through your life of leadership have said that to you, and you're like, oh, wow, like they see something in me.
Yep.
I still think of myself in my mid-30s, but like I'm not. And so it's like my words have more weight with a 30-year-old than I think they do. Yep. They just do. Fourth one is, and this one I think this may be my favorite of the 7. Lend them your credibility to open doors.
You are so good at this, Tim. I remember you telling me this a while ago. I can't remember the context, but you were coaching me on something years ago. And it was like, you need to ask him to lend you his credibility. And I never heard that before. So tell us about what you mean when you say that.
You're going to be able to get them in rooms that they can't get in. You're going to be able to get them the ear of someone they're never going to get. You have someone on your, digital Rolodex on your iPhone that you could text right now and introduce to that young leader and say, hey, I'd love it if you could give them 45 minutes sometime. They'll pay for your lunch. You have the capacity to do that. I remember Ed Baylor, who runs the Aspen Group. They do construction and architecture and design work. And Ed, I haven't talked to Ed in probably 20 years, but I remember him saying this, like it just synced in my head. He talked about social capital. And this, Ed's probably 15 to 20 years older than I am. And at the time, he's in like his early to mid 50s. And he's just saying, I've got this social capital I built up. I have this reputation I've built up over 30 years. And he says, I'm trying to figure out, how do I steward that well? How do I steward this influence I have with various relationships throughout my life? And I just started thinking about that as like one way to steward that is to lend that to younger leaders and help them get in rooms and open doors they can't open.
You also do this for women in leadership too. A little bit of a different topic, but I know you've done that for me. Like you've invited me into rooms that I otherwise would not have gotten in because I am a woman leader in a church setting, but you've been able to open those doors for me and invite me to that table because you've lended your credibility, which on the receiving end of that is so humbling and so like, I'm so grateful for it that it makes such an impact on me. And now I want to do that for other leaders and try to do that when I can to other people.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Cause you're now a wizened.
I'm so old. Now I'm
elder in the church.
An elder millennial. All right. What's number 5?
Number 5 is to invest in the development of young leaders. And I mean that corporately and personally. So corporately meaning whatever the organization is that you run, to whatever degree you have budget authority, use some of that to invest in some of these young leaders. I would do that by like, you tend to like have like a lead team retreat, or you're going to a conference or whatever. Grab a few young, you want to go, we talked about chemistry. You want to go with people like, man, I just love hanging out with these people, whatever. Great. But also pull some people into that, some young leaders into that. They just get to rub shoulders with you, hear what you're thinking, grow, learn together with you in whatever that is that you're going to.
One of the things I remember from the episode with your kids where they pointed that out, they were like, you guys have always hung out with people that are younger than you. And then I think you said, which was interesting, you were like, well, I don't think they started that way, but like we were all kind of the same age. And then you and Faith just naturally kind of gravitated towards, or became the people that the young people wanted to hang out with. And so,
At least we tell ourselves that.
Yeah. But that was something that stuck out to me that even your kids noticed, And
I remember when the first year, maybe second year, I was at Willow. I talked about Faith Schiller, one of our previous episodes, but she wanted to go to a conference, and like in any place I've ever been, I'd be like, we're going to find the money and send her to the conference. But we were cutting millions of dollars out of the budget. We couldn't find one penny. So I had to tell her, I'm so sorry. Like we don't have the budget dollars for that. But then I got home and called her that night, and Faith and I just wrote a check.
Oh,
and
Tim.
To me, it's like,
so cool.
It's like, I can't do this like with my church hat on or my, organizational hat, but I for sure can do it with my personal
hat. That is so cool.
And then, just speak, her and I never talked about it, but it just speaks volumes into like what, how much we believe in you and what you're doing.
That's awesome.
Another organization that I think is doing this really well. So we've been talking about a bunch of partners that partner with LeadingSmart. Well, there's an organization that Faith and I partner with, Faith Stevens, and that's called Generation Distinct. And they're located here in Chicago. And their whole reason for existence is to help young leaders find the wrong they were born to make right. And so the last 3 summers, I'm doing it again next week, we just go down, we spend 3 days in Chicago just pouring into and mentoring these young adults. They have 140, I think, or 120, something like that coming this year. So find those ways that you can. And that's number 6, is to mentor young leaders. We talked about this a while back, but just give them anytime they ask for time, give them time. Like just if especially if you've got an eager young leader who wants to grow, give them time. My nephew is a pastor of a church, and I think he just turned 30. But young leader, young pastor, he's just starting to hire people. It's a church plant. And we just started this last month or maybe 2 months ago now. But, he like, I told him, I said, I coach people, right? And he's like, yeah, I could never afford you. I'm like, you don't have to. Like, let's just put it on the calendar once a month. Let's just spend time and whatever you want to talk about, clean slate. And so figure out ways, whatever that is for you, to do that. And then the last one, number 7, is learn from them. Like, this isn't just about pouring into young leaders. It's like we actually have something we can learn. So listen to the podcasts they listen to, read the books that they read, find out who are they leaning into? What are the YouTube channels, whatever it is. If they're leading a session somewhere, go sit on the front row, have your iPad out or your notebook and take notes and go up to them afterwards and say, man, there's one thing you said that I've just never thought of before. And it just pours like life into a young leader when you can give them confidence because you're actually learning from them too.
And I think that is something that I value about you. And like this whole season has been, we've come back to a few different times, is your value of curiosity. And so surrounding yourself by people that are younger than you so that you can, because there are a lot of people I know that are your age and older, like technology, for example. It's like they put their hands up and it's like, no, I'm too old for that, or I don't want to learn, or it's like, but you are always like, tell me about this new thing. Or I'm usually learning from, I'm the boomer in this situation usually, where I'm like, you're not a boomer, you're a Gen Xer, but you know what I mean?
Thank you.
So yeah, where it's like, no, Tim, tell me, what are you doing for technology? Or because you're interested in that.
Let's agree though. It's sometimes a sickness. I research things that like are stupid. Like, why is the cord on that toaster 6 feet long? I don't know. Let's Google that. See if we can find out.
That's awesome. Yeah. I really admire this about leaders who are intentionally surround themselves by people so I had somebody reach out to me about a coaching session, and this is someone who I really admire. I literally was like in the discovery call and was like, why in the world is this person wanting me to coach them? And so I was telling my husband about it that night, and he was like, because you have a younger, different perspective than him, and he's smart to want to be coached by someone who's 20 some odd years younger than him, because you're going to help him think differently. And I was like, oh my goodness, like that's such a great perspective, and something that I want to, because I even find myself as an elder millennial looking at those Gen Zers sometimes like, what in the world? I don't understand it. But to be challenged to really surround myself and be curious and to learn, because they're the future. So, okay. Good stuff. 7 lessons. But those aren't of the 40. You have so many lessons we can learn from.
These are kind of 7 topics under one of the lessons. Yeah.
Under the topic.
Not confusing at all.
No. Under the topic of not letting your leadership fade. Okay. Now we're going to transition to our fun segment of the episode. This one we're calling Unpopular Opinions. Which Tim told me when we were preparing. He was like, hey, think of like, a few opinions you have that are unpopular. And I replied, all of them? So I feel like
Holly has a lot of opinions.
Yeah. And I feel like all of them are unpopular.
Oh.
So we're going to go back and forth about opinions that we feel like we hold that could be unpopular. And you tell us. We'd love to hear from you. So you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Southwest Airlines is the best airline in the entire world.
See, okay. Do you still think that?
101 million and whatever the number is %.
You still, even with, they're basically becoming a legacy airline. They're doing all the things that all the other, you still believe this today?
They haven't rolled those changes out yet. So for now, not all of them. They haven't rolled them all out yet. So for now, I still believe that.
All right, cool. I'm going to.
Okay, what's yours?
Let you live in that. Okay, here's my, I think it's unpopular because people mock me when they find out about it, but I still do it. I stay in a lot of hotels. They have the ice buckets, and they have usually the little liner that's draping over that. I just throw the liner on the desk and I go get ice in the bucket.
Yeah.
I don't use the liner.
So I'm actually,
I think that's an unpopular opinion.
Well, I'm with you on this.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I think that we together are, yes, for sure, that's the unpopular opinion. And our good friend David Whiting, who's a part of our LeadingSmart community and team, he is very anti this opinion. He is like, I've heard you guys talk. I'm not going to repeat it on this podcast, but he tells Tim all of the things
that have
probably been in that ice bucket without the liner, to remind Tim of why this is a terrible idea. But YOLO. You only live once.
Improving my immunity every way that I can. So little germ here and there.
I used to say that, and then I had a kid, and we're sick all the time. But okay. Mine is, which you might actually agree with me on this.
Okay.
I'm curious. It's better to be hot than cold.
Absolutely.
That is like in general, like I would much rather be hot than cold. Like I feel like I can't think when I'm cold. However, I will say, I feel like being 15 months postpartum, my mind might be changing on that. So I used to be cold constantly, and now I definitely, probably because of hormones, I'm more on the warmer side by default.
Agree with you, except when I'm sleeping. Like I want the room cold. I want to be snuggled in under a warm, even a heated blanket, even in the summer. But I want the room to be like 54 degrees.
54.
I don't usually have it there, but that's like if I could.
Yeah.
Like when it's like upper 40s, low 50s, windows are open.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
My next unpopular opinion is that Diet Dr. Pepper is 95% water and therefore counts towards my daily water intake.
That is not only unpopular, but also just wrong.
No, the 95% is accurate. I've done the research.
But isn't it true? Okay, because I'm going to ask you a question, not say it as a statement, because then you're going to look it up and probably prove me wrong. So my question is, I don't remember if it's carbonated beverages in general or if it's specifically caffeine carbonated beverages, but I think they dehydrate you.
Was this a question? It didn't sound like a question.
Is it true that they dehydrate? So that's my challenge to that. And then does Diet Dr. Pepper have aspartame in it? Because that's super bad for you.
That's a big word. I don't know. I was just talking about water. So some experts might agree with you on that last question / statement. But still, 95% water. I get a lot of water.
Oh my gosh.
Every day.
So much, and lots of aspartame.
Right.
Okay.
Your turn.
Mine is that there is always a way, meaning that anything is possible. Like I really do. I am allergic to cynicism and negativity, I think. And so like I do. I believe like if you want to do something and you put your mind to it, there's a way to do it. You can do it.
Okay, can I test that?
Oh Lord. Sure.
You could become a raving fan of United Airlines.
I could. If they completely changed their business model, hired different people, had different, but
that's laden with cynicism.
If they really wanted to, they could.
Oh, it's on them.
Win over
Not
my.
okay, fair. All right.
Okay, what's your last
My last one is that avocados are gross.
No.
I think they're disgusting. They remind me of baby poop. I see no reason for that texture of green stuff to be anywhere in close to the places that you eat.
Oh my gosh. When I was right out of college, I moved to Dallas for my first like big girl job. And I was also like in a health kick, and I would eat avocados just like out of the, like whatever you call it. Oh my gosh, what is that called? The skin of an avocado. Cool. Anyway, with a spoon, just eating a whole avocado.
This brings a question. Is it avocado or avocado?
Avocado. I think I say avocado.
You do?
Yeah. What do you say?
Avocado.
Oh, must be like a Midwestern
Avocados
thing.
from Mexico.
Oh, now you're singing.
That'll be the last time.
Oh, man. Okay, well, that was fun. Thanks for joining us on that segment. Let us know if you agree or disagree with us. I'd love to hear it. And before we close out, wanted to remind you about our download, 40 Lessons in 40 Years. Find that at LeadingSmart.com. And then we also want to highlight one of our partners who make this podcast possible, as well as everything we do at Leading Smart, and that is Intulse. So Intulse came to us, I guess it was probably, about a year and a half ago-ish. And they help churches with, I always want to say VoIP, and it's not VoIP.
VoIP.
VoIP
Yeah, that's
systems, which probably Tim should tell you about, given our conversation we just had about technology. Tim is way more nerdy about this stuff than I am. I just know that it makes our phones work really great.
When we first started talking to him, I thought, like, I was the person yawning, falling asleep, like, okay, you do phone systems. Like, who? Okay. Like, hello, 90s. Like, we all have phones. We don't need phone systems. But then they start talking about the benefit of the system that they do, which in a church context is super helpful, meaning that they have, I don't even know exactly how they do it, but they have apps and whatever on your phone. So you can make a call from your phone that doesn't show up from your phone number, your personal phone number, but it has a generic phone that belongs to the church. And that call is logged in the church management system. And if you text from your phone, it's logged in the church management system. So when that staff person drops dead, gets fired, leaves the church, you still have all of that continuity of engagement that you have with your church members, which I think is like, in the work that we do is super important. It's also just a safety issue for when accusations come of what someone said or didn't say, or what they put in a text or whatever. You have records of all of that in a pretty cool system.
It is amazing to me. The majority of the church clients that I work with, texting is the primary, personal phone number texting is the primary means of communication. And it is not great, guys. Let's get better and protect ourselves and our church. And also set up the church for future success with those relationships being tracked.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Next up, in our next episode, we're going to talk all about church boards, which is one of Tim's favorite topics, of working with lots of church boards, some of the most influential churches in America. Stay tuned. We're going to unpack it together. See you there.